Transformers, I'm gonna check something. Yeah. Just another linear hub. Okay, well, that's nice. By the way, it's been shown in the background. I'm not actively. Well, I mean, I'm just doing glitches.
Add as. Thank you for Add as.
Worker, go away. Now let me check something. Okay. 5 hours left to get rid of prismatic crystals, and that's completely fine. Okay, ooh, that's nice. Okay, let's see what happens there. Can't go anywhere else. Oh. Hikora. Wait, that's... Okay, that's fine. Just use this one to get here. I'm pretty sure that... First of all, this is something I can slide from... Here I can just climb to there. No, I can't. Actually, I can. Easy peasy. Ah, how curious! Cool! Wow! Okay, let's see. It works! That's cool. Ooh. it's literally the only place to have a thing. Ah, ooh. Neat. I can probably place a zipline here. I mean, I can. I definitely can. Why? Why the hell not? Yeah, getting from this zipline to...
Careful. That one looks like serious trouble.
The smell of dirt, foul beast, and the enemy scent.
Yeah, that's really fucking cringe. I didn't need Rossi. I mean, having loyal dog is cool and all, but that's... oh god. What I want to see is this web event. Of their long ear. Ah, come on. Can I just... Can I just go to the event? Oh, God. That's nice. Wait a second. Yeah, I guess I missed one event. There was one event I completely fucking missed. Fuck, man. Hmm.
Я так долго гулял. Я уже не была. За кистями пришла.
Что ты так... Не ори, пожалуйста. Нет. Микрофон включен. В общем, с тебя это... Тебе моя нога.
Тонечка. Ну, после суток.
Не ссорь. Вот ты сказал там карадуба, ничего.
Это еще.
Трогай, оставь, оставь. Hmm.
Arknights.
Okay, let's see. Tempt. Okay, no. I fucked up. In a way that I thought that it is... Yeah. I overreacted. Phew. It's still 11 days here. Okay, well... Okay, someone... Something. You... You are an asshole. You teleported there. We just teleported there. You're an asshole. Doctor, I'm the ping administrator. Neat. I'm the ping administrator. Boris. What the hell is that? Get me ping administrator. Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. Let's get to it.
Rusty spear, rusty tide.
I thought there was another zipline. Somewhere really close. It was just that one. Why is it only 90? Just 90. Those zip lines, well, this one and this one should be like really popular. Yo, there's my wife. Well, sure is. And I also like converted in my way. Is definitely the type of woman I would gladly go with to a doctor with. Otherwise I don't go to the theater because I'm, well, mostly forgetting about it. But also, you know, no, actually social anxiety doesn't really. I thought I deleted you already.
Need a leg rub. Can't reach. Ooh, much better.
Yep. Let's see. Mother convener, please. I see. So that's how it is. I have no idea who this mother even is. Можно? I'm not sure I even read that correctly. Okay, we'll be piece of dyslexia? Yeah, that's the one. Really mad. Enough to have some problems sometimes though. By the way, I'm not sure how my player problems even developed over the years. Just like the people who just teleport. They just make it so the people that are pretty like me are less likely to place those commissions as something accessible to everyone. By the way, there are some thoughts that I have on my noggin, in my thinking box, which are related to how people express their sexuality and... Well, actually, no, it's not about expressing sexuality, but how sex is part of regular everyday discussions, like teasing and all of that. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a bit... Well, that reminds me of how it used to be in school, which barely survived. But a lot of shame, internal shame, from me feeling it really awful. Those themes. I mean, I kinda initiate those discussions, but when they're more or less serious. Because I guess this is really a problem, because I really feel vulnerable. Yet some people either hide behind the jokes or are just really nonchalant about that. I suppose the reason I even am talking about that is because I started watching a stream of people watching hentai together. Like, and it's reasonable that they would be kind of teasing towards each other and towards the audience. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. Really. So, what did they expect? That's like reasonable. Don't tell me this zipline is more useful than this one. By the way, how much this zipline is even marked? By people. Oh yeah, it's fairly popular. At least. Good to know. Good. Good. It is a plan. It is a zipline I'm really proud of. Mostly because I did figure it out myself. It feels more quickly to do that than it feels that I'm moving more quickly than if I just went to a waypoint. I overate a bunch today, and it's really annoying. And I really should start to do roll.
Where should we go next?
Faces, poops, ticks, Chainas. I know what I want. You see, at least. And if I just invest enough time, I might not just be able to draw to satisfy my desire to have cool drawings and sexy and exciting. But also might earn just a few bucks. Shading is really fucking peaceful. Okay, F5. Hours. Well, 3. well.
Professor,
Loading thing. Oh, nice. It's really very cheap. Am I gonna sell any of that? $42 maybe. $44 maybe. I need 45. 100. I think that was the limit for me. Alright. Let's teleport over there. Underwear, underwear. Woo! Aha.
the smell of dirt, foul beast, and the end means scent. Here's got some serious skills. What's this? Hey, yeah. What's this? Yeah. Like, wasn't my turn. Opening fast in me. Picture it. Take it out. Someday. This. No, it's wait. The name of the pack will echo across the land.
Well said. It was fun. And we won.
$20. Okay, that's not really a cool place. It's a usual place. It's a regular place.
Smells like danger. Should we engage?
Those places also don't look different. Aha! Here it is. Nice, really nice. Honestly, I really enjoyed that. You can just a place like that. I'm pretty sure that I can hear it. The war is Mortis. 18 out of 20. Nice. It's really and that I guess is okay, so that's part of it. I wasn't sure. Well, I didn't leave those things here. And that's fine. That's completely fine. That's completely reasonable, unfortunately. I mean, maybe it would be cool if from here I went there, and then went over here, and also maybe went over there just by going this way instead of this way, because this point is not really necessary, right? Oh god. Okay, let's see. I can remove that. This one isn't necessary. And just not like that. No. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh. Something there. Just
Riding the tide!
here. Distance too far. Distance too far. Here. And I can know it's not distance too far here. Zipline block. Okay, so we can zipline block, block. that's the... Like here? It's the best place. Right, and if this is the best place, then... First of all... Like, I can probably just place it even over. Man. That's fine. Yeah. That's not so fine, but here it is. It's going here. $125. 123. It's still more than 120. Yeah, but it's not like this is the all and all. Like the 78, I can move it up. Come on. What makes it blocked? It's not blocked anymore. Yeah, I can easily hold here. Okay, that's fine. And now you connect to here. Now you using problems, yeah? What about you? Let's Nice. Let's see. I can move over here. It's fine here. Block here. It stops being blocked. Not here though. Maybe. Maybe. Barely. I mean, clearly. That's not necessarily the best place for musicians to be. Okay, if I get rid of extra bullshit shit.
Gotcha. Locked in. And something. There's 110. Just barely. Wait. $140 over there. Yeah. Something I didn't remove. But that's fine. Place in this location. But I can place in this location. Eee. Distance too far. Really weird geometry. Yeah, bye bye. Here it is. Farlands. Not so distant lands. Maybe can just place a zipline over there. It does feel like there are places to be.
So let's start. Well, here. Let's go even further. No, that's actually not a good idea. Because I need an actual zipline pylon. So just actual relay. I have to place where? I can place it there. Place it up. Or actually, what I can do. It's open. You wonder where there are. So one over here. Not cool. Not cool. Where else? Right. I can see it here, but everything else is blocked off. What? Come on, man. If everything is blocked. No. Something just for a moment. Unblocked. Place it over here. It's really annoying. Oh, it is really annoying. So if I try to go over there, need with invisible things. So how I guess I'm not going to provide power from this angle, which is really unfortunate. Because that would be so fucking cool. This. Can we do this? Sure. There is an invisible wall over here. Yeah, they were just... It's not worth it. In theory. We're going to get in there. Once again. I'm low. It's blocked. Huh. Distance too far. Oh, crap. Zipline blocked. Zipline blocked, blocked. Zipline blocked. Lots of things don't have collision. Zipline blocked. And invisible block. Not here. I wonder if there are tools to show where invisible walls are. Okay. That's all in good. Good, really good. I'm just doing nothing right now. Let's take a pause from this game and open other games.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. I read a page that really just pissed me off today, and I want to talk about it here a little bit. I've said this a lot on this channel. One of the reasons that reason that we get screwed is, I'm kidding, I'm doing a video. One of the reasons that you get screwed is when Ford or Chevy or General Motors does something fucked up, instead of saying, oh yeah, that's kind of messed up, we do this thing where we say, you're an idiot. If you bought my preferred brand of car, then you wouldn't have the thing spy on you. And we always do this thing where we shit on the person who got fucked over rather than trying to work together to make sure that people don't get fucked over. And so what am I talking about here? You know, like, my girlfriend has a robot vacuum, and every time I visit, I throw a towel or some shit on this, I unplug it, like call me paranoid, I just don't like getting out of things devices with a fucking camera and a microphone that are in my, like, just no. And I'll include links down below to where these things have been hacked before and people have gone through all the shit. But I have to admit, as much as this thing is, I hate it, it's convenient. It's convenient. You know, I vacuum on a regular, I have cats that like to just fuck up my entire house on a regular basis and destroy everything, and they leave little dust when they do that. There's going to be those people that say, why don't you just clean your own house? And yeah, I know I do clean my own house. When I get home, I spend now 30 to 40 minutes every time I get home looking for every area that Mr. Clinton has pissed or pooped and tried to hide it because he didn't want to make it to any one of the 4 litter boxes throughout my house, since he has a heart problem, a thyroid problem, and a kidney problem all in one. He's 17 years old. So it would be nice to have something that just does that stuff for me. So after spending 30 to 40 minutes looking for his piss and his poop when I get home, I don't also have to then sweep, vacuum, and mop my house. It's one of these things that's like fundamentally a waste of time. And vacuums have been getting shittier and shittier as I've been getting older. You can buy these vacuums that like, there's not made the way they were 20 or 30 years ago. So I figured if I'm going to get another vacuum, I might as well get one that just does it on its own. But I don't want something that spies on me. So I started doing some research to figure out, can I do that? Has there been somebody out there that's made some sort of open source or rooted thing to make it so that the robot vacuum does not have to connect to the manufacturer? And I found this beautiful project called Valetudo. And in order to flash certain vacuums, there's a adapter PC board. And I found somebody's GitHub that they link to that make this thing. So I start reading it, and it says the repository contains the resources to build a breakout PCB required for the routing of Dream vacuums. They're not meant to be sold. If you bought one or are aiming to buy one, you've been scammed by a third party trying to extract value from this project. And I'm just thinking, what do you mean I've been scammed if I wanted to if I wanted to buy the PCB. I'm kind of confused. I highly encourage you not to support such behavior. Like all value extractions, such actions have devastating results. The people selling do not care about you, the project, the world, or me. In the long term, they made money, and that's all that matters. If you think about it, you're probably here because you dislike those very business practices. Actually, no. I'm here because I want a vacuum that doesn't spy on me. I really don't care if somebody makes $1 or $2 or $5 because they've made that process easier for me as somebody who does not want to get into PCB manufacturing. Therefore, please build a PCB yourself, share it, and learn something in the process, and connect with like-minded people and grow your skill set, rather than giving money to people who thrive on trading better futures for instant gratification and personal gain. Is that really trading futures for instant gratification and personal gain? Or is it just, this person has made it easier for me to modify my vacuum so it doesn't spy on me? As a result of them making it easier for me, they get to make $1 or $2 or $5. The amount of time that it will take for me to figure out how to manufacture my PCB is not worth that $2 or $5 or $10 because I have a life and many things going on, and therefore we have an even exchange of value. But that's not it. When you keep reading on, there's more and more lecturing about it that really start to fucking piss me off as I get through it, because you start to see that little strain of that type of elitism of, if you value your privacy, if you want to have a device that doesn't spy on you, if you want to have some sort of sovereignty over what you own, then you'd better learn all these skills and you better be smarter. It's your fault for not being smarter. Acquiring a PCB. We live in an age where there are many cheap hobbyist PCB manufacturing services. The idea behind the PCB is you just pick one of those, you upload the Gerber file from the releases section, and you order a set of PCBs for yourself. And again, I have no problem if anybody ever wants to do this. If you want to do this, like, by all means, you should have the option to. I have nothing, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing weird and nerdy. Make your own PCB. But there's nothing wrong with it. But when you scroll down, here's the part that just starts to drive me nuts. Why can't I order these and use assembly services from JLC PCB? Because you should learn how to solder. No, really. Soldering is a valuable skill to have in your toolbox, and there's no better way to learn something than being forced to do so while trying to get something else done. This line over here says it all. Similar to what was stated above, this is a conscious decision to filter out people that don't really care about the project, but just see it as a means to an end. What the fuck is wrong with having a means to an end? That's how you accomplish anything. What is wrong with somebody saying, I simply want my vacuum to not spy on me? I want my vacuum that is in my house to be mine. There's nothing wrong with that. And we shouldn't be trying to filter out those people, because those people that try this or get excited about this are the people that may actually get excited about PCB manufacturing later, that might actually get excited about doing everything else that you want them to be excited about if you approach them in that way rather than with a lecturing and condescending tone. I can't imagine if I had taken this approach to my board repair videos back in 2013. Would anybody even bothered watching? Some people may really be excited about repair because they really, really care about PM Sleep S4L's relationship, PM PCH Power OK, or RTC Reset L from U1800 or something. But and then there are some people that may just be interested in it because they like making their customers happy. Or there may be some other people that are just like it because they like making money. If they're providing a repair, and it's a good repair, and it makes people happy, does it really matter? Should I have been filtering people out and only teaching people repair that were the people that truly cared about repairing things, and not if I thought that they were just doing it to run a business? Should I have not been teaching people the repairs that were economically viable or profitable because those are repairs where they could make money, and the people that were making money off repairs may not really be excited about repair? And can I be 100% honest with all of you? I'm not even the most excited about repair. You know what I like about repair? I like when a person has tears coming down their face because they say everybody else said they couldn't get your data and you could. I like when somebody goes, because the Apple Store told them $1,600 and we told them $150. I like solving people's problems. I like helping people that otherwise wouldn't have been helped. I like solving puzzles, and I like kicking bullies in the shins. These three things are a lot of fun, and repair was the vehicle by which I got those things done. The actual reballing of a fucking chip that has 96.25mm balls under it, that's not fun to me. And it never was. It was the means to an end. And there's nothing wrong with achieving that end. I like when my customers are happy. I like when a bully that is lying about something gets kicked in the shins, and I enjoy solving a puzzle. Is it wrong? I have one of the best known component level repair libraries on YouTube. Should that all be discounted because for me it was a means to an end? Does that make those videos any less enjoyable to the people who watch them? Does it make it any less educational? Did it make it any less useful? Now you're starting to lecture people, and this is what starts to piss me off. I know how to solder. I have been soldering since I was 8 fucking years old. I'm pretty damn good at it. I started a business where this is what I do primarily. I trained a team of people to be able to do this type of work, and I find this to be annoying. I'm wondering, why do I find this to be annoying if I know how to do this work? Because there's that implication there that if you want privacy, if you want a device that you own, if you want a sovereign vacuum cleaner that does not have to connect to the internet and you want to use this, you have to do it my way. You can't pay somebody $5 or $10 or $20 to do it for you. That's wrong. You have to learn this skill set in order to have privacy. And why can't I make that choice for myself? And this is one of those things that I talk about when it comes to right to repair in general. When I talk about right to repair, I do not walk up to people that have a 5-year-old phone that broke, that decide to purchase a new one and trade the old one in, and say, you should have fixed that. If you care about right to repair, you should fix it. Right to repair is not requirement to repair. It's not twisting your arm into repair. It's not compulsory repair. It's simply right to repair. And when it comes to privacy, and when it comes to sovereignty over what you bought and paid for and sovereignty over what you own, the way that I see it is, it's my choice how I want to get there. I spend my entire fucking day for 15 years of my life soldering until 1 or 2 in the morning. So when I don't have a soldering iron in my house, I'm okay with that. Because when my life was showing up to work and then for 12 or 14 or 16 hours sitting there and fucking soldering in the back room of an office, when I get home, I like to have peace. Some peace. And one of the things that I did just to create that boundary for myself I don't have a soldering iron in my house. And this may seem crazy to you, but for me, it's the way that I separate my work hobby and in my work, which I just kind of hybrided it there, which is something that I can very easily go down a rabbit hole into being something that I just don't do. And I wanted to see when I bought this, is this something that I'm going to bring to work and make a project, or is this something that I'm going to try and set up quickly so that I could just cross it off my list? Because the reason that I've been putting off doing this is because I knew that I would have to research how to not make the robot vacuums spy on me, which has resulted in me not doing as much vacuuming. I keep putting off fixing or replacing my old fucked up ass vacuum in the process, and that has just caused my house to be more and more of a mess. And one of the reasons that I put it off is because there may be some sort of fucking rabbit hole that I have to go down. So when I read this, and there's not only is there a rabbit hole, but there's a lecture for anybody that may want to just trade their money in a capitalist society to somebody else that may want to handle that for them. That's annoying. And again, I'm not saying that he has to be the one that assembles these and sells them and does it himself. I'm not talking about that at all. I completely respect somebody saying, listen, I don't want to do that work. But that's not what this is about. I highly encourage you to not support such behavior. Like all value extraction, such actions have devastating results. These PCBs are not meant to be sold. If you bought one or are aiming to buy one, you've been scammed. It's not about whether or not he wants the device or the product to be sold. He's saying that other people should not purchase or sell them. Unbelievable. Soldering irons are cheap and there are a lot of guides on the internet. It's impossible to be able to buy an $800 robot vacuum but just don't have any more money than to pick up a used $5 soldering iron or visit the local makerspace. So, this project can do that because it's entirely luxury fluff. No lives depend on being able to route their vacuum robots as quickly and as with little friction as possible. This is just a hobby, and if you're planning on picking up a hobby, you need to actually invest effort into that. It's privacy and sovereignty. And I'm going to say something that I think is radical. I think people should be able to have access to privacy and sovereignty regardless of whether they know how to fucking solder. I know how to solder. I don't feel like figuring that shit out. If there's somebody out there that said, here, for $20 or $30, I'll send you the PCB with next day shipping, I would fucking take that over going to a PC board manufacturer. And I have 17 years of experience running one of the best known small repair companies in the country. This is exactly how you get people to not care about any of this. By having that elitist idea that if you want to be able to have access to these things, that you should learn all the things that I know and you should value all the things that I value. As somebody who values a lot of these same things, I also value having the choice to be able to trade my money for somebody else's time. Because maybe when I'm off the clock, I don't want to think about this shit. Maybe when I'm not in my store soldering, I don't feel like thinking about more soldering. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And the reason this bothers me is because of the idea that if you care about privacy or sovereignty and all, that you need to also care about all the things that I do. You need to be a part of this little club. And if you're not a part of the little club, then maybe you just don't deserve privacy or sovereignty over what you bought and paid for. Like, fuck that. And like, I appreciate that somebody made this. And that's the thing that pisses me off now is that just to respond to this, I wind up coming off as an ungrateful person. And I'm not ungrateful for the fact that somebody made this available. I'm thankful that somebody made this available. I'm thankful that the people that programmed this, I think it's a great project and I want to see it do better. And I think that's the thing that bothers me above all else is that this is a pathway for those types of projects to do better. Because I know if I'm thinking this as somebody who knows how to solder, who's gone through 5 or 10 layer Apple motherboards trying to dig out the short, who stayed in his office until 4 or 5 in the morning for 6 or 7 years doing board repair live streams, if I'm the type of person that's looking at this and thinking, yeah, let me just see if I can buy this somewhere, and I'm aggravated by this rant, how many other people out there who are not as techie as I am, who have not written a fucking 900-page manifesto on how to self-host everything in your life to disconnect from other people's servers, how many of those people are going to be turned off to this and say, fuck this, I'm not doing it at all? Privacy and digital sovereignty and ownership is not an elitist thing, and it's not a niche thing. And while I like people getting into the hobby, one of the worst ways to get people into the hobby is to lecture them and to twist their arm and make them feel like they're not really worthy of it or deserving, or to make them feel like they're bad or they got scammed if they made a consensual decision to trade 20 of their dollars for somebody else's time. That's what you're paying for. There's no scam. If somebody took this PC board, made the PC board, and sold it to somebody, that's not bad. And this is the thing, like, not all capitalism is a scam. Yes, I get it. There are lots of CEOs out there that are complete psychopaths. The reason that we're even in a situation where we have fucking robot vacuums that spy on you and steal your data, that don't get patches because they don't feel like sending an operating system update to something they sold 6 months ago, is because of hyper psychotic people that want to make as much money as possible. But then we go to the other extreme. This is what my personal trainer talks about all the time, about how human beings are really bad at balance. Then you go to the other extreme, where somebody wants to make a couple of dollars to make it easier to just grease the wheels to get somebody else who may not feel fully ready yet to solder and have their own PCBs manufactured and learn what a fucking Gerber file is and all that other stuff, to be able to modify their vacuum. And you're sitting there lecturing them over it. When I was writing this thing at the expense of 3 months of my life at the end of 2024, the last thing that I was thinking about was trying to lecture people to get them involved. I want them to find it fun, and if other people are willing to try and make it easier for them by making the things that they may not be willing to make yet, or that they just may have this mental block towards, then that's totally okay. The last thing that bothers me about this is when you're talking about the rungs in the ladder to getting people excited to do this type of stuff. A lot of people, they don't want to just dive into the deep end immediately. There are a lot of people that may want to modify their vacuum, that don't know what a Gerber file is, that don't want to have their own PCB manufactured. But if you send them the PCB, they might be willing to fuck with it. And once they're done with that, they may be willing next time, for the next device they modify, to actually learn what a Gerber file is and actually get their own PCB manufactured. It's one step at a time. Once you've had the dopamine kick from taking a component off the motherboard and putting it back and it still works, wow, now let me try replacing one that's broken. Once you have the dopamine kick of, wow, I replaced the part that's broken and I fixed it, now you may be ready to diagnose what's wrong yourself instead of just fix something that somebody else has diagnosed for you. There are these levels to learning, and that's what bothers me. You have to get that little kick of dopamine from doing something at this level to be excited to do this level or this level or that level or that level. And the way that you keep it a small club is by saying, well, if you're not willing to do this part yet, then you can't do this, this, or this either. Yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that I'm overreacting here? Or do you think that there is this sort of open source elitism that winds up pushing people to Google, Apple, Microsoft products, vacuums that spy on you, TVs that spy on you, and everything else? Because as somebody that's trying to get more people to adopt this stuff and be excited to use it, one of the #1 barriers I see to all of it are the people that are actually creating the tools, often, sometimes without even realizing it, come off in the most hostile possible way to the people that would be the most excited users and evangelists of their own tools. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
Hi, Stephanie Sterling. It looks like CSGO skin trading now has 7-day wait period. Skin gamblers panic didn't follow our community guidelines. We removed it from YouTube. We think your content violated our sale of regulated goods policy. Content that promotes, facilitates access to, or links to online gambling or betting sites isn't allowed on YouTube unless the domain means legal, promotes or facilitates gambling. Fucking what? About Jeffrey Epstein and his friend, which slapstick that my last video, It should go without saying that my last video, the one about Jeffrey Epstein and his friend Bobby Kotick, was deemed unsuitable for advertisers by YouTube, which slaps restrictions on that video and its ability to be seen. This will happen to any video in which I reference Jeffrey Epstein, because I will call Jeffrey Epstein what Jeffrey Epstein is, a paedophile. He's not a PDF file, and while I'm not convinced that funny little puns are entirely appropriate when discussing a sex trafficking pedo, that's not the prevailing sentiment on YouTube.com. But truth be told, this is going to happen to every video I ever post. On a website that restricts words divorced from context. On a website that explicitly and precisely benefits paedophiles like Jeffrey Epstein by hamstringing our ability to discuss who they are and what they do. I'm not going to change my language. I'm not going to butcher my vocabulary. I'm going to discuss subject matter with the tone that subject matter warrants. And not only will every video I post be restricted, most videos that I've already posted will be and are being restricted, as we're about to discuss when I tell you about YouTube's performative new stance against gambling and how its policy against the sale of regulated and illicit goods is designed in such a way that the only people punished are those with non-performative stances against gambling. Welcome to YouTube.com, the online predator's best friend. Did you know that YouTube, the website that routinely runs ads for gambling products, has taken an ethical stance against gambling? You may not know, in which case you certainly haven't heard how YouTube, the website that routinely runs ads for gambling products, is signaling its ethical stance against gambling. Oh, it's a doozy. What it's doing is actively removing videos that are critical of gambling products while continuing to routinely run ads for gambling products. I know this because YouTube YouTube, the website that routinely runs ads for gambling products, has actively removed my videos that criticize gambling products under the false pretense of removing videos that advertise gambling products. After years of ridiculous moderation on the part of YouTube and its automated systems, removing videos for being literally the opposite of what they are is a bit too on the fucking nose, is it not? What even is acceptable on this website anymore? Maybe I should sideline into making AI-generated videos about kittens bursting open and pregnant cartoon characters getting punched in the fucking stomach, which I could flag as appropriate for all ages and have it pushed to millions of children. Cause let me tell you, that shit seems to do just fucking fine. Zilla, if I forget to tell you when I message you later, do not look that up. Don't, try and find visual references or anything. This isn't a bit for the video. Legitimately don't look at it. It's fucking terrible.
The warnings come after the spell.
We really are living witnesses to the saddest, most pathetic cyberpunk dystopian future imaginable, aren't we? Actually, scratch that. Imaginable is the wrong word to use. There isn't a cyberpunk dystopian writer alive who could come anywhere close to imagining a world as rotten as the one we're all in right now. Why do we get all of this instead of augmented robo-dicks? Oh, and don't look up the creepy stuff that currently exploits YouTube's underage viewers.
No, seriously, do not do it. She is not kidding.
Because while ElsaGate was creepy and perverse enough back in the day, I have seen the kind of AI-generated psychological child abuse that gets uploaded to this nightmare of a website nowadays. Just being told what was in those videos was enough to leave a deeply disturbing impression. No, I can't openly talk about mental health issues on this website, can I? But if I wanted to cause genuine emotional harm to hundreds and thousands of small children, it takes a few AI prompts, a keyword-laden video title, a thumbnail that literally doesn't hide how inappropriate it is, and YouTube's algorithm will do the rest. If you want to prey upon the vulnerable, Google's got your back. If you want to challenge predation, Google's got a pair of rusty shears with which it will tear your vocabulary to fucking shreds. Social media's censorship efforts in the past few years have had a tangible negative impact on our language. In one of my fieriest videos, I discussed how the sanitizing of words among YouTubers was stripping away both context and meaning in discussions, making it harder to find resources on topics like mental health, and giving bad actors a free pass by removing their critics' ability to call them out plainly, such as calling a Nazi a Nazi. We're in a screwed up situation where YouTubers are scared to say the word Holocaust while talking about the Holocaust and use cutesy nudge-nudge wink-wink terms like unalived to describe real-life suicides. And yes, it's called a suicide, not ending your life subscription. How the fuck are we living in a world where that's considered the more palatable term? Censorship on platforms like TikTok and YouTube is having a grave effect on our speech. These videos are being watched by hundreds of millions of people, and media as ubiquitous as that absolutely has the power to shape the way we talk. I was recently told by someone that their therapist, over the phone, in a professional capacity, used the term unalived. It's utterly disgusting, but it's an inevitable result of so many YouTubers and TikTokers adopting the term. I guarantee there are younger people who are going to consider my problem with these cutesy phrases to be out of touch, that I am an old, and that's why I don't like the relevant language of the day. But here's the thing, it's not the relevant language of the day. It's the corporate language of the day, the advertiser-friendly language of the day. This lingo has not been naturally developed by the generation that speaks it. It was coercively developed by platforms run by members of a generation that predates mine. So I really don't feel like I'm out of touch for disapproving of words like unalived, because such terminology is inherently, explicitly boomer approved. Now, on to the list of reasons why I am out of touch. Point 1. Manta Force.
Searching the universe for Earth's twin planet.
Online media is mass media now, and like all mass media, it conditions us. This is especially true for younger audiences. If you want proof, say 6'7" to a 10-year-old and see what happens. It's bloody Pavlovan.
Actually, I think 6'7" is just this generation's version of 42. Wait a second, 6 times 7 is 42. Weird. Well, at least we had to read to do that one.
The newest generation of humanity will grow up hearing tacky online workarounds for words long before they hear the words being worked around. At this point, content platforms will have truly won as their corpo-approved language will have officially supplanted our own. Their very real, very non-fictional, incredibly, literally, literal newspeak. I've been gravely concerned about the chilling effect the leveraged robbery of our language is having. For a long time now, I've been adamant that there is a war being fought that no one else is taking seriously. The war for context. An intentional deboning of our words and our shared culture by the technocratic executive class. I don't care if that makes me sound like a conspiracy theorist. It doesn't even matter if there's a conscious conspiracy or not. This context war doesn't need to be one that tech billionaires are waging intentionally or even knowingly. The result will be the same whether it was intended or a mere side effect of corpos doing what corpos do. We are being disarmed of our linguistic weaponry. Nowhere has this grim phenomenon become more apparent to me than in YouTube's most recent sanitization campaign, one that has essentially libeled me and my most influential body of online media work. If you had heard of Jim Sterling in the 2010s, which people often did back then, surreal to think now, you'd know at least one of two things about him. He was sued for $15 million by a couple of buffoonish grifters, and he hated predatory video game monetization. Now imagine, if you will, that Jim Sterling's impassioned work in calling out loot boxes as gambling products was directly implicated in the selling of illicit goods, specifically gambling products. Well, you don't have to imagine that, because that's what happened. And how bad does it look for me that as someone who built a career on criticizing predatory practices, my work's been labeled as enabling and promoting those very same practices? Can you tell? I'm annoyed this time. Recently, YouTube has begun removing videos from the most prolific years of my video career for one simple thing. They dared to use the word gambling. This is what I've been able to ascertain from YouTube's characteristically vague and obfuscated rulings. What the removed videos had in common was that I used the word gambling in the video title, which presumably was flagged by the website's dumbass algorithm as something to be removed. Upon appealing the removal, I noticed something else, something new. At some point, YouTube disabled the option for the creator to state their case. There I was, full of righteous indignation, ready to write down exactly why the removals were fucking stupid, and found instead that all I could do was click an appeal button and leave it at that. You don't even get a say anymore. I'm pretty sure I know why they've done this too. If there's any evidence that you've given them a damn good reason to reverse their decision, they're liable for inevitably ignoring that reason, and that's the one thing YouTube wants to remove more than anything else: its own liability. YouTube doesn't want to know my very valid reasons why the removal of these videos is not only stupid and hypocritical, but tantamount to false allegations, slights on my character that may constitute libel. When I first mentioned YouTube's latest intensely offensive activity, someone suggested that maybe my videos could be returned if I met them halfway and removed the word gambling from the titles. But, No, I won't be doing that. I refuse to comply with that fucking bullshit. The word gambling is integral to my criticism of gambling, and that integrity is also why YouTube's censorship is so egregiously inane. This shouldn't even need spelling out, but here we go. Gambling platforms don't like the word gambling, so why would censoring the word stop them in any fucking way? One of the most important aspects of my critique of loot boxes was referring to them as gambling mechanics. I did this with the express purpose of making game publishers uncomfortable and explaining precisely what the likes of EA and Ubisoft didn't want to acknowledge. The loot boxes employed the same predatory tactics, used the same business model, was in all but the most tertiary of aspects identical to gambling. Where EA famously tried to weasel out of it by referring to loot boxes as surprise mechanics, they remained gambling mechanics. In all but name. In all but name. It might sound like some high fantasy prancing wizard shit to say names have power, but names have power. A rose by any other name may smell as sweet, but if we called it the racist delight or the pedo plant, we might not want to be seen taking a sniff.
The kids had made up this really mean nickname for me.
In the world YouTube would have us embrace, EA's dream of rebranding loot boxes manifests overnight. After all, in a post-unalived era, how ridiculous is the phrase surprise mechanics, really? Corporations have gotten people to believe that the word grape is a tasteful alternative to the word rape. And if they've been able to convince everyone of that, literally nothing's off the table. Nothing except, of course, calling things what they fucking are. Calling a Nazi, a rapist, gambling. Welcome to the timeline where the surprise mechanic won. On a platform where gambling can't be called gambling, literally the only people punished are the critics of gambling. It's a word that most gambling profiteers avoid at all costs. It's a dirty word to them, which means it absolutely should not be a dirty word to the rest of us. What YouTube is doing is defanging everybody who's willing to take a bite, and I'm no longer willing to give Google the benefit of the cynicism on this one. While common wisdom says YouTube's appeal process is just as automated as everything else it does, that's not what YouTube claims, is it? No, the site's always maintained that appeals are carefully reviewed, and from now on that's how I'm going to treat them, not out of naivety, but out of a desire to see YouTube held responsible for once in its reckless, harmful, abusive fucking existence. So yeah, if YouTube rejects an appeal, that means human employees at YouTube saw the appeal and stand by the moderation. A scenario with some really interesting implications. With that in mind, YouTube, the website that routinely runs ads for gambling products, knew damn well what it was doing when it removed my videos criticizing online gambling products and then rejected my appeal. YouTube carefully reviewed my appeal, which means it had to have seen the video and realized it was the exact opposite of promotion. They knew it was criticism and they upheld its removal anyway. That is willful and deliberate suppression that protects the very gambling products YouTube is paid to advertise. And let's speak completely plainly. Lord knows this website hates that. YouTube management has always known what it's doing. They've been playing Pontius for close to 20 years and they ain't never had clean hands. You don't abdicate responsibility as effectively and comprehensively as YouTube always has without knowing what it is you're refusing responsibility for. YouTube is devoted to the cause of deniability. Why are its so-called community standards so vaguely defined? Why are YouTubers so paranoid about getting demonetized they've begun preemptively complying with almost superstitious fervor? Because if YouTube officially defined any of its standards, it would have to stand by them and enforce them consistently. No more sudden moving of goalposts. No more giving a free pass to channels considered too profitable to moderate. One of the most important aspects of YouTube's rules that I've not personally seen brought up before now is that they are not called rules. They are, as I said a moment ago, community guidelines. Remember the other thing I said earlier? Names have power. They cannot be called rules, because rules are rules and rules mean something. For a thing to mean nothing is for a thing to be amorphous, and therefore it can be anything Google wants at Google's convenience. They might be killing everyone else's ability to see context, but they have never lost sight of it. YouTube is aiding and abetting some of the worst actors on the internet by erasing the language used to call them out. When you have to pussyfoot around financial exploitation, abuse, and fascism, when you can't state plainly what they are and what they do, all you have left is euphemism. And euphemism is the domain of fascists and predators. It's a domain that advantages those who will mention the wrong.
I'm just gonna say, euphemisms are also the domain of quiet resistance.
wrong kind of they do, all you have left is euphemism, and euphemism is the domain of fascists and predators. It's to call them out. When you have to pussyfoot around financial exploitation, abuse, and fascism, when you can't state plainly what they are and what they do, all you have left is euphemism, and euphemism is the domain of fascists and predators. It's a domain that advantages those who will mention the wrong kind of people without daring to explain who those people are. Those who would refer to in-game gambling as surprise mechanics. Those who have had decades of practice repackaging their beliefs into something that sounds palatable because they know what they're really saying is abhorrent to the average person. Racists hate being called racist, so they label themselves patriots. Transphobes hate being called transphobic, so they label themselves gender critical. Even while publicly performing a Nazi salute with utmost glee, Elon Musk is such a little bitch that he won't admit he did it, and his neo-Nazi pals label it a Roman salute. Do you see how not using the proper terminology only helps these people? Bad actors have spent so long nudging and winking to each other that the dog whistle is a second language. Their language. The language YouTube and TikTok would have us all speak. Case in point, you know that saying grape instead of rape used to be done by people trying to get away with rape jokes, right? This is why I've got no problem stating exactly what YouTube is without a foot or a pussy in sight. YouTube is a sanctuary for hate. YouTube is where grifters are actively advantaged. YouTube is the online predator's best friend. I refuse to believe that even Google's leaders are so dim-witted as to not understand how they're enabling dangerous people in the name of safety. Not even executives could be that stupid. Or if they somehow are, the results are indistinguishable from malice, with which stupidity has never been a mutually exclusive deal. It truly is amazing how YouTube found a laser-guided and harmful way to make me give a shit about this dead-ass channel long after I gave up caring about building anything with it. It's not the first time the cunts have done it, and it surely won't be the last. They always find a new way to get under my skin, to make me worry about the state of this fucking hellhole. Thank genuine fuck I'm not dependent on this website anymore. My current job doesn't fill me with anxiety and the terror of knowing that I could lose everything at the imbecilic whims of overgrown children in business suits. And I advise anybody who's built a career on YouTube to plan for the same future. There will always be another adpocalypse, another secret policy change, another sudden shift in the paradigm that puts your business at risk. If you are a self-described content creator, do yourself the favor of a lifetime and start building your safety net now. If nothing else, let this very channel, this one right here, serve as a warning. You can grow a platform to the point where it feels like the future's certain, and all it takes is a day. A day for the snowball to roll downhill so hard there's no climbing back up. Eventually, the algorithm you spent years trying to appease will zip the body bag of your content creator career when you've fallen far enough that it sees no utility in your channel. And as hard as Google's riding that regurgitative AI dick, you can be sure it's gunning for a future in which not a single one of its human uploaders has utility.
When they have nothing left, they will be my playthings until they break. You cannot stop me!
Oh, I don't want to. Humanity is tragically overrated.
The AI-generated writing is on the wall. YouTube is ever-evolving, and each evolutionary stage has proven more hostile to outspoken creators than the last. Over the past couple of years, YouTube has restricted, demonetized, or outright eradicated more of my videos under newer and stupider policies, constantly moving the goalposts of its own twisted sense of acceptability, so that what was permissible yesterday is bannable today. To the current crop of YouTubers, I say this: you can censor as many words as you like out of fear of losing your income, kids, but the fact of the matter is you can't game this system forever. You can't predict what YouTube will punish you for next, because true batshit, I mean the purest and most distilled ideal of batshit exhibited by YouTube management, cannot be anticipated by a rational mind. Just remember this, if you do need to remember YouTube's malice. If you're ever in doubt that Google is out to make your life as a video producer more and more difficult, this website made it harder and harder for you to run ads on your videos, and when you started accepting more sponsorships for low-quality earphones and shitty freemium games, do you know what YouTube did? It made it easier and easier for users to skip your sponsored messages. It was easy and it was quick for YouTube to make sure nobody has to hear about Manta fucking sleep masks anymore. So maybe I'm not so out of touch by only talking about Manta Force! If YouTube can avoid it, YouTube won't suffer a single second of you succeeding on your own terms. And its own terms are increasingly incompatible with independent creators. It doesn't want you here if you have a shred of fucking integrity, but more to the point, it doesn't want any of you. If you're putting videos on YouTube, Google doesn't want you here, not really. As we've discussed.
But it's unfortunate that this is what they gave us. Not one of the cute girls being cute.
Before, this is why the drive for AI is so heavy, why they're railroading it so aggressively, because they dream of a world where their products are made for free and sold at a premium to a general public that has been 100% laid off by their employers, and no, they haven't thought about where we're all going to get the fucking money to pay for their shit. What matters is they don't value labor. They don't value the people that make the products that earn the money. They see every human being they have to share that money with as an inconvenience. And if you're a self-styled content creator, although really it was the executives who styled you that to subtly devalue the labor you put into your art, don't think for a second that you are exempt from corporate resentment. Don't think for a second they're not eager to make you redundant as well. YouTube wants to take the you out of the tube. It wants you gone. All of you, because the more y'all it can replace, the more money it gets to keep. In fact, here's a sobering thought. It doesn't even want Mr. Beast. Because let me tell you, if they could replace him with derivative AI and keep all of that man's revenue for themselves, Google would drown him in gasoline and light a match without skipping a beat. Actually, I better not put it like that. I might give Mr. Beast a new idea for a game show.
So, here we are again. Another story of company-wide systematic
I've been sitting with the resentment over this one for quite a while. Glad to get that out of my system. As an addendum, one of my videos got returned, but the others are now officially gone. Forever, for the crime of being the opposite of what the crime was. And for the most part, I care so little about the impact on this channel that fighting it any further is a literal waste of my very lucrative time. The only thing that truly upsets me is just how laser-guided the attack on my integrity is. To say that my work, of anybody's work, promotes gambling, especially those videos. It's yet another example of what an abusive relationship YouTube has fostered with online creators. YouTube has such little influence over my life these days that I could lose this entire channel tomorrow and it wouldn't impact me professionally. In fact, I am pretty sure that with all of these retroactive rulings, my channel will be moderated out of existence one day. But like any accomplished abuser, they find a way to still make me care, to still make it hurt. Because of all people, this is me that they're saying advertises gambling, that they're saying tries to sell and promote regulated goods. Me! Well, YouTube, don't fucking project your shit onto me, because there's only one platform around here right now in this conversation that is promoting gambling. And it's you! So yeah, thank God for me. This is High Steph saying bye, Steph, and hopefully moving forward we can finally start knocking through my list of nice, fun video essays that I want to do, instead of focusing on things that make me want to scream. can you believe it? Another year almost in the bag. It comes around so fast, does it not? Life, hurtling, ever forward, inexorable, unstoppable, until the cold yet comforting embrace of the grave snatches you away from a world of torment and horror. Merry Christmas, one and all! Steph Game of the Year Awards or whatever, like the brand. It's the Jimquisition Game of the Year Awards or the High Steph Game of the Year Awards or whatever, like the branding matters.
Hydrobot is gonna enjoy the rest of the Game Awards, everyone.
What matters is, as 2025 wraps up, it's time for your humble Stephanie Sterling to look back over what she has played and tell you which games were the best ones objectively, because her opinion is scientifically correct.
That would seem highly improbable.
So now it's time to shut up as we announce the first Game of the Year award winner, and it is... Wait, no, that can't be right. Greg, is this right? This is a blooper game. It's Chronos. New Dawn. Huh. I never, in my life, thought a Bloober Team game would make my list of best games released in pretty much any year ever, even if it was a year in which literally no other games had been made, which, let's face it, isn't entirely impossible in a medium where companies seem to cancel more games than they greenlight. I do love me a redemption story though, and for every time I've needled Bloober for its treatment of trauma, for every time I've criticised the company's reliance on cheap horror tropes, the studio has left me speechless with not just a good Bloober game, but one of the best horror games released in recent times, period. Chronos: The New Dawn had me teetering on the edge of leery with its opening, where it became clear the studio was looking to use our collective trauma from the 2020 quarantine as a narrative basis. However, it's not hackily exploited so much as cleverly used to build a relatably uncomfortable atmosphere, and it's more of a backdrop for an original and fascinating science fiction story that has some cool things to say about identity. Even when it verges on portraying multiple personalities, it does so with restraint. And its horror elements are similarly held in reserve. The endless attempted jump scares of Silent Hill 2's remake have been traded out for a handful of startle moments that are earned by an oppressive, dread-filled atmosphere, and that's the important part. All of Chronos' scares have been earned. It puts in the graft, and that's the difference between proper horror and hacky schlock. This is a horror game sculpted with skillful hands, a visually arresting, stomach-churning adaptation of the Dead Space formula with plenty of its own ideas, a well-acted story, and some solid third-person shooting that isn't brilliant, but it gets the job done. It provides the requisite thread of death and keeps you occupied as you get to the great stuff which Chronos is filled with. So yeah, Bloober kicked ass on this one. If this is indicative of their future performance, I think this developer may well cement itself up there with the lauded horror studios. And I genuinely can't believe I've said that. The wonders, will they never cease? Please? Because some of the wonders that have been coming out since the 2020s started have been really bloody horrible. Can they cease? Can some of them cease? Anyway, if you know me, you may not be surprised at this one. It's Bull X Pit. To say Bull X Pit was made for me is putting it a little lightly. I mean, obviously it wasn't literally made for me. The developer wasn't all, I'll make a breakout pinball town builder with Vampire Survivors elements just for Stephanie to enjoy. But if you were going to make a game entirely for my enjoyment, a breakout pinball town builder with Vampire Survivors elements is a perfect way to go about it. Throw in a virtual pet while you're at it. And some tits. Not on the pet, obviously. Although, as far as my tastes go, this is some very celestial stuff. This year's top-tier indie time sink, as far as I'm concerned, predicated on a simple concept with deeper systems beneath. So it's a brick breaker game, but the bricks are potted enemies and the paddle is a little guy. Look at the little guy there. Ain't they little?
The Krabby Puppy's so cute, he makes me wanna die!
You shoot these tiny baby balls as a source of constant fire, but the special balls are where the real damage is done. These balls have unique properties, such as the bleed ball, which stacks bleed effects for major damage, or poison, which stacks, well, poison for dealing poison damage with poison, like poison tends to do. There are many special balls randomly offered when collecting enough XP gems to level up, and if that's where things were left, it'd be pretty neat. Thing is though, when special balls are leveled up enough, they can fuse together to create a ball that has the properties of two. Very neat. That's not all either, because some ball fusions full on evolve to radically alter the ball's behavior, such as mixing the lightning ball with the iron ball to create one that sticks AoE lightning rods in the enemies it hits, or if you mix the vertical laser ball with the horizontal laser ball, you get a cross laser ball. Super neat. Oh, and then you can fuse an evolved ball with a fully leveled special ball to add the latter's properties, giving your lasers fire or your lightning rod ball the ghost property that passes it through enemy hordes. Very super neat. It's such a damn good game. Oh, and I almost forgot, yeah, there's that city builder as well, where you place facilities and resources and build stuff by pinging physics-driven townspeople off of your arrangement like fucking pinball. Double. Very super neat. Come the fuck on. How is this game not getting tons of awards? Yeah, quite happy with that recording. And hey, go me. I didn't mention testicles once.
Which means I built this entire set for nothing. Oh, tear it down.
Okay, it's time for a very recent one. This one snuck in right at the last moment and sufficiently wowed me to the point where I had to put it on this list. Put your claws together for Octopath Traveler 0. I believe the original Octopath Traveler made the cut for one of my previous uncoveted and prestigeless Game of the Year awards. It's a terrific game with a lovely sequel, and it was followed up with a gacha game. Obviously. I mean, Square Enix published it. What, you think it wouldn't have gone gacha under the ridiculous captaincy of Square, let's do everything shitty in the shittiest way possible, Enix? Anyway, when it inevitably died, like every Square Enix service, it was dug out of the grave and resurrected as Octopath Traveler 0, and, yes, bloody incredible. Not everyone will agree with me on this one, but with its fantastic script and gameplay additions, Octopath Traveler 0 may well be the best in the series. Its first half is particularly stellar, driven as it is by some of the most amazingly horrible villains I've seen this side of Colonel Volgin. The move from 8 protagonists to 1-player avatar loses some uniqueness and gains nothing from the silence of it, but it makes for a cohesive plot that is just grandly scripted. Combat is expanded to include 8 character parties that can be tweaked and tailored for strategic perfection, and it drew me in deeper than either of the previous games. The regular repetitive battles are over far quicker, but the bosses are still challenging, so the pace has been improved tremendously. On top of that, there's a town building element that, while limited and lacking in pinball action, is an engrossing addition to a game that would have been top-notch without it. It's simply marvelous! You see, I said it like August says it in the game. Let's try that again. Marvelous! I can't quite nail it. Nah, moment's gone. One of the risks with end-of-year honours is you can often forget the stuff that came at the beginning of the year. This next game came out in March, and I almost forgot to include it as a result. Now, if I'd have actually done that, I would have had to kick myself on the arse so hard that I'd upchuck my own rectum. Ew. Which is my pleasant way of announcing the next winner, 2 Point Museum. Earlier this year, I made the bold claim that 2 Point Museum is what video games should be, and I stand by it. In an era where games have the temerity to charge $70 and even $80 for increasingly shallow experiences, it's almost an indictment that such an absorbing and content-stuffed game as 2 Point Museum carries a price tag of $30. Easily one of my most played games this year, it's an easy-to-comprehend management sim, and it's the kind of thing that could still justify its MSRP if it had half as much stuff in it. 2 Point offers the chance to not just make a standard museum full of dinosaur bones and shit like that, but multiple themes, so individually full of unique exhibits and gameplay challenges, they could easily have supported their own expansion packs rather than arrive in the base product. Aquariums are a thing, supernatural exhibits are a thing, science and space exhibits are things. Each museum style plays out very differently, such as ghosts needing to be put in displays that cater to their individual tastes lest they break out, or alien artifacts that turn into something cool when placed near certain other ones in a kind of puzzle fashion. The basic gameplay of 2 Point Museum was good enough enough that I happily spent a ton of time playing it, but on top of that, the sheer variety of exhibits and wealth of associated gameplay is what transformed it from a great game to an undeniable game of the year. The spirit of theme park is alive and well with this series, and that reminds me, it's been a while since I picked it up and now I really, really want to get back into it. What a fucking excellent game. Oh, did a Hades game come out this year? Well, I guess we better put that on the list. Yeah, Hades 2 is the next one. Another sequel to a previous and simply sterling Game of the Year winner, Hades 2 is a whole lot of Hades, and that's a whole lot of really quite good, actually. Its biggest flaw is something it couldn't help. It isn't even a flaw per se. Hades 2 came out after Hades did. That's it. That's the most pressing issue it faces. Hades came first, and so some of the revelatory shine has been dulled. The surprise over how much it just keeps going and going and going was a big part of the game's arresting allure, but it was far from the only part, and Hades 2 nails everything else. The intensely likable characters, the above-reproach voice acting, the excellent roguelike gameplay full of incredible weapons, the gorgeous visuals, the buckets of unfolding gameplay, it's all here and it's all as great as it ever was. Plus it has Skilla in it, and she's just the best. I'm such a sucker for a boss fight with lyrics, you know? Even more so when the boss itself does the singing. And yes, I will forever go to bat for that Nightmare Before Christmas Devil May Cry knockoff. A full-on musical sequel video game with a fucking killer version of Sally's song. Amazing.
And I am ready to set things right here.
How can you say that you will be okay and come back another day?
And to think I used to write.
Plus Dr. Finkelstein gets a song, plus the voice actor for Jack sings his own songs and proves he's got fucking pipes despite Danny Elfman doing Jack's songs in the movie. Wait, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, right, Hades 2. So, in conclusion, this is why The Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie's Revenge deserves to be a Game of the Year awards winner, even though, as a game, it's not all that good. Which brings us to the finale. Last but not least, our final Game of the Year award winner is Expedite Everything. What? Oh, I should not have got these cue cards typed up by an AI. What to do? This spot right here was reserved for Claire Obscure Expedition 33. If I recall correctly, it's one of only 2 10 out of 10s I gave this year among my gorgeously written reviews that not enough people appreciate because we live in a TLDR culture, and by all accounts it is a thing of abject beauty. It is so wonderfully written, so I'm talking about the game now, not my reviews. It is so wonderfully written, so evocatively performed, very much like me. I'm back on me again. Its interactive twists are tricky as hell to get a handle on, but so utterly stimulating when nailed. But here's the thing. There's a dark cloud hanging over this game's head, and that cloud's name is Cumulossus, the Cloud King, the Storm Gatherer, Viscount of the Vapors, and Prince of Precipitation. And that's not Cumulossus, the Cloud King. Not this time. For he would have been a lot cooler than what the problem actually is. Yep, it's controversy surrounding so-called generative AI. Was it used in the making of Claire Obscure? One guy involved said kinda yes, another guy involved says no. But in that way you often hear pro-AI guys say no when they say nothing in the game uses AI, because if you only pay attention to the exact words being said, it's technically true. But the thing is, if AI was used, it doesn't matter where the AI was used. Larian's CEO may be all, oh, it's just to generate ideas, we're not making assets with it. But AI is a world-burning, plagiaristic poison that relies on creeping concessions.
You know how much energy it must have taken to generate a flow this size?
It needs us to relax our stance on it, to accept some okay uses. Just a little bit here and there as a treat. Insidiousness is the name of the game, and fuck that. Zero tolerance is the only way, because tech bros can and will take a no and force it to be a yes if you don't refuse hard enough. But the question is, did Expedition 33, the game I spent months marveling at, employ AI somewhere along the line in its development, even just a little bit? I don't know. If it did, then it's not a game of the year as far as I'm concerned. I'm treating AI the same way I've always treated microtransactions in fee-to-pay games. Even if I love the thing, I can't in good faith award it as an exemplar, not when it's employing or enabling harmful practices. If it didn't, then absolutely, it's one of the best things I ever played, and like 2 Point Museum, it's less than half the price of a so-called AAA game and offers so much more in return that it should embarrass the big budget industry. So it's in this award slot, but I'm also keeping this an open spot for games that I want to award but might not quite be able to. In which I'm also going to add Kirby Air Riders, because fuck, I love Kirby Air Riders, but no game should cost $70, even though this one comes damn close to justifying it, certainly more so than Mario Kart World and the sheer gall it had to charge $80. Air Riders is less a racer and more a racing adjacent activity centre. In fact, the racing part is my least favourite bit. It's all about City Trial, the arena rumble where you rush to find a preferable vehicle and bump up your stats before choosing one of 4 randomly selected events to compete in. I often pick my games of the year based on how long I spent glued to it, how magnetised I was, and in that regard, Air Riders takes home the biscuit. It has a playable Marx in it, my favourite Kirby baddie, the numero uno reason to call oneself a Marxist. And you can play as Cappy, for fuck's sake, the dumb mushroom, and ride a bike shaped like a wheelie. I love Kirby. In fact, this game also made me dig out my 3DS and play through Kirby Triple Deluxe again. What an underrated game that is. Also in this flexi spot of an entry is Date Everything. It's here not because of any practice it's engaged in. Frankly, this game's approach to development and business is pretty much everything I stand for, but because, well, you know, I worked on it. Is me naming it a game of the year a conflict of interest? Sure. Is it less ethical than using AI? Fucking no. But look, it's got a character in it that has been praised on social media as the best representation of neurodivergence in media, period. Oh, and that just so happened to be the character I wrote, along with some menu elements and almost every piece of descriptive text for every object in the house. But at any rate, it's a funny, queer-soaked, visually delightful and vocally astounding game that dating fans really would do well to check out. And yes, I worked on it, but there's a reason it's critically acclaimed and has sold a staggering amount, and that reason is not me. I was honestly just lucky enough to be part of such a cool bloody project. And if none of those games seem like a good one to suggest, so I don't know, fucking put Sonic Crossworlds here instead of Air Riders or something. It's a great racer, one of the best feeling arcade car games in terms of handling, and you can beat a egg porn in it, a egg porn in a Beetle car. I don't just judge racers based on which enemies you can play and or drive, but I gotta admit, it sweetens the pot to sugary degrees. I'm gonna go download Doogie's Revenge now. And there you have it. Take umbrage with any of those selections? I don't give a flying fuck. Because I'm not going to lie to you like all of those other YouTubers that say they read every single comment. I read none of them. I post these videos and then I run off to have a wank. Now there's integrity. Oh, and speaking of wank, next week is the end of year video that you all actually care about. Yes, once again, we are putting on the elbow-length gloves, prizing the arsehole of the game industry apart, and yanking out the top 10 shittiest games of 2025. Suppose it's the cheeks you prize apart. The hole's prized open. It's that kind of deep philosophical thought you can only get on High Step. And that was High Step saying bye, Steph, and thank God for me. See you next week. Ooh. Ooh.
Chat, supposedly the new animal character is a catalyst. Yeah, prune. Prune is a catalyst. Oh, 6.5 Abyss second half. Wait, we can take a look at that too. Pyro damage bonus and Lunar Bloom damage. Okay. Is this the Nicole Mawiko rerun, by the way? Yeah. Okay. That indicates that Nicole's thing probably scales with pyro damage, right? Because we know that it doesn't scale with her crit damage. But so it wasn't like entirely clear if it scaled with any damage percent and whose damage per se would scale with. But if this is the Abyss for her release patch, then it's probably just damage percent. Wasn't it supposed to be a Quill-like effect? Not entirely. It's a coordinated attack that uses your on-fielder's stats, but it's a pyro hit that doesn't apply pyro. That's just quills? No. Quills are not a separate number and are always obviously the same element because they just increase the one number you already have. Like Tingyun and Star Rail. So true. Honkai Star Rail. Super Hev. That's cool. Okay, so we got the new mushroom. That's it. Wait, did I see that right? Oh, okay. I thought this was second side, and I was like, are they really giving a fucking 300 Dendro-Res enemy on the same side as the Dendro Chill? But no, it's a different side. Okay, that makes sense. Shroom is probably a joke in Abyss, honestly. That's usually how it is with the new bosses. First half is so free. Yeah. We have kind of reached the point where Primo Geovishap is a harder boss than a lot of the other bosses, just because team DPS is so high that having to wait like 10 seconds for the Primo Bishop to get up is like half of a boss's health bar. Yeah, I wonder if this is hinting at Prune having grouping. Maybe not though. Maybe they're already leaving Varka behind and they're just gonna assume you play Venti carry. I thought the little boo-boo is replacing Venti. Yeah. Because Nicole will make Venti carry better if she's a quill with her. Again, I don't know why you guys are insisting about the quill thing. Like, they're not quills. Like, according to the latest leaks, they are not quills. It's just off-field damage that uses your carry's crit. But it doesn't care about how, like, often you're attacking or like, it's just off-field damage. But the crit stats use your carry's crit stats. I think leakers don't know how quills work. Okay, but like, there's not knowing how quills work, and there's saying a coordinated attack like Xingqiu and Yelan when it's a quill. Like, if it is a quill, it's because that leaker was just lying, right? It's not because they didn't know what they were talking about. Like, quills don't look like Xingqiu or Yelan, so it wouldn't make any sense if it was quills. I mean, I say that, but maybe the buff is like a percentage true, like a true percentage increase, and it's like, you deal pyro damage equal to 20% of the damage your other attacks are doing. Like, maybe it's just that. I don't fucking know. Perhaps. That's not really like quills. That's kind of just like Yone E. With Linnea releases, Zabai the strongest DPS by far at lowest investments. It depends on how you define lowest investments, right? Because Zabai's premium team with Linnea obviously has 3 5-star characters. C6 4-stars Klugi. I think it's a bit less unrealistic for Linnea if you're assuming the full premium, because Idloa is on her and on like both on Zabai and the Linnea banner. Is Zabai premium better than C2 Mawiko Overload? No, but I would say it's close enough behind that most people will see better results with Zabai. Like, my Mawiko Overload, if I had it at C2, would probably be slightly ahead of Zabai. Yeah, it depends on what platform you use to like share the showcase that you recorded when you recorded the team. If your showcase goes on YouTube, then Zabai is better. If it goes on Bilibili, then Mawika is better. Why? I mean, there's this bit in the community about the Bilibili showcases being people that are really fucking good at the game. It's a little bit of confirmation bias, obviously, because like, if a showcase is impressive enough to transcend the language barrier and make its way to the EN side of the community from Bilibili when it's titled and recorded in Chinese, then it's probably really fucking good already, right? So you kind of filter out the unimpressive stuff. I found this on the KQM Discord. That looks so fake, but should we take a look at it? It's from the same leaker, really? Sure, let's take a look at it. The difference between Hexarai and non-Hexarai teams is noticeable, somewhat similar to Eon San. So like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, are we talking about Eon San without a Night Soul carry, or are we talking about Eon San without a carry that moves? And like, how little movement are we assuming if we're talking about like, I don't know. The interval between instances of additional damage is much longer than expected. I mean, sure. At base, the additional damage is not as strong as Farina's. Wait, she's a fraud. What? Or are they saying that this is the personal damage? Is this the personal damage? Or is this damage percent? This is a personal damage? It's probably the personal damage, right? Okay, well, she's not supposed to be a personal damage dealer from what I understand, so that's fine. Who cares? Like, but the increase for C1 is very large. C1 is a key constellation. I mean, this is like, she's probably just not meant to be a damage dealer at C0, and then C1 is like plus 10, like plus 5 to 10% team DPS because it makes her actually deal damage, and like it'll triple her damage, but she does nothing to begin with, so it's not actually that big, you know? So I don't know how much I trust that. At C0, the attack buff is flat attack, not percentage based, and its value is lower than a fully optimized Bennett. Okay, is that team-wide though? Or is that only to the on-fielder? Oh, at C0, the attack buff only applies to the on-field character. At C2, it becomes team-wide. I really hope that's fake. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, I really fucking hope that's fake. Jesus Christ. So are you telling me she doesn't replace Bennett, she replaces Durin? Because that's what this shit is looking like to me right now. Wait, no! Because she doesn't apply on-field pyro, right? I guess they do say the difference between Hexari and non-Hexari teams is noticeable. I don't know, man. C4 may include, okay, who cares? A signature and artifact set. The signature weapon is a standard support weapon that increases damage. The artifact set works on marked targets, but it seems only Hexari characters can fully utilize it. Utilize it. That word wasn't that hard compared to yesterday when I tried to pronounce fetishize and I just could not do it. And I spent like 10 minutes trying to pronounce it properly. Fetish is... Why is that such a hard word to say? From the fetishization? Yuri fetishiz... Fuck! No, it was fetishization. You're right. Anyways, it's unclear whether non-Hexari characters can fully benefit, and this point is still debated. Okay, numbers are basically finalized. That doesn't help me though. Wow, congrats, they have decided on the numbers, but what are they? Okay, whatever. Additional notes, the visual effects of the additional damage are said to be very impressive and have been emphasized multiple times. Wow. Her additional damage interval and the Hexari restrictions are notable. Hexari teams can fully benefit, while standard teams gain less. The comparison to Aeon Sun refers to step-based scaling. What the fuck does step-based scaling mean? And in what way does Aeon Sun have it? Like, because you have to do steps? Like, you have to, like, movement? But what? Maybe the 1, 2, 3, 4 Hexari, but in what way is that comparable to Aeon Sun? What? Okay, whatever. In terms of overall value, she may even outperform Venti. What? Oh, okay, they're talking about Prune. Okay, never mind. I skip. Okay, my bad. At C0, the attack buff mainly benefits... What? But you said that already. It's fine. Okay. Regarding Varka and Prune, whether low investment Varka can perform well still depends on Prune. She likely follows a typical 4-star support design where C6 provides a significant boost. Exact values are unknown, but she should be clearly stronger than older 4-star teammates. In terms of overall value, she may even outperform Venti. Lohan works with Denial of Darkness Durin. His output can reach a level comparable to a typical high investment C6 level setup with roughly, what the fuck does that mean? With roughly half of the damage coming from burst windows. With proper optimization, rotation could be shortened to around 17 seconds. Durin cooldown is 18. What? Dude, this has to be rage bait, man. Yeah, maybe he gives cooldown reduction. Or maybe you play double Animo. Maybe. Oh, maybe the cooldown reduction from Nicole League was true, actually. Who knows? The issue with the VV set interacting with Pyro is unlikely to be fixed for 4-star characters in practice. This setup is essentially a direct upgrade, allowing the win set effect to be triggered from off-field. What does any of this mean, actually? Leno in the strongbox, that's what matters, though. Maybe the real leaks was the confusion gained along the way. True. Oh, by the way, chat, what's the name of the website that has Stygian results? It's just StygianOnslaught.com. That's crazy. Or Stygian.mo. I am really curious. Okay, there aren't really submissions for Chaska Dyer here. Limbo, what do you think about Chaska? Yay or nay, is she mid? I want a committal, legally binding statement from you right now. Very yes. Okay. Can I quote you on that? Yeah? Okay, bet. I think the biggest issue with Chaska is that wheelchair cores have reached the point where they do so much that you kind of just get more damage out of bringing one more support than you do out of bringing a character like Chaska. So she doesn't even feel like a good wheelchair driver anymore. There's Chaska Dyer clears here. Let me take a look. What is that? Is this... Okay, it's just something that has a bunch of... Yeah, okay. So, Chaska. So the green is reasonable, clear, low invest possible, few issues. And yellow is it clears, but it's kind of fake, right? So like C2 Chaska, and whatnot. And red is, it's basically just whale, omega whale bullshit. And she only has one green, well, 2 greens, but one of these greens is this, which is the easiest Stygian boss of all time, so I don't think it really counts. Okay, interesting. If they did it probably, why wouldn't it count? We're not saying your clear doesn't count if you use Chaska with X and Y situation, like with X and Y things. We're saying it doesn't count as a supporting argument for Chaska being particularly meta, right? I do think this clear kind of does count, like this green clear. Yeah, like this clear is real, because like it is dire after all. So like allowing one or two SIGs and like early cons that do about as much for your team as a SIG, I think is reasonable. But the thing is, like, yeah, this is Papilla. Papilla is the dream boss for Chaska, and it's also not among the harder of the bosses that we've seen. So many, yeah, like you can see, right? You look at just the sheer density of green on Papilla. So being green on Papilla isn't that much. You look at the other bosses that have a really high density of green, and Chaska isn't part of that density, you know? So it's like, yeah, it's rough. Although she would be at least green on Drake. No, Chaska isn't actually that good on Drake, because if you're playing Chaska on Drake, what ends up happening is you have a team that is always doing about 2/3 of the damage it's supposed to do, because one of your elements, one of the 3 elements that are your damage, is just doing nothing. Like, sure, Chaska teams get nerfed less than like if you try to play Mawika Overload with Auron, right? But the reality is that you want to have some form of dual carry stuff against Aeon Blight Drake. You kind of need to have some form of what the hell is the Dubai green team for Drake? Is simply is Flint's there to simply bait Electro Res? I mean, yeah, you're like, the idea for this one is lunar power creep is massive.
Oh, you say you're bisexual, right?
Yeah, I'm bi.
ちょっとナンパしてもらっていい？
本当に bisexual?
本当に。
So you like girls? Yeah. Oh, so you can like hang out with me? You want to go on a date? She just winked at me. She just winked at me, bro. All right, bye.
I think you just got your girl stolen.
Should I get back at her? Should we get back at her?
What you mean we? What you talking about? Oh, you say you're bisexual, right?
Dad, why are we just standing in the rain?
Because it's our duty, son.
Why is it our duty?
Because we're ducks, and it's what we do.
Why is it what we do?
I don't know, son. I don't know.
But why, Dad?
Ah! To appease the duck gods. I don't know.
No, it's not, Dad.
All right, smart guy. You can go play.
Thanks, Dad.
Duck God! Praise the duck God! Duck God! Almighty duck God!
Dad, why are we just standing in the rain?
Because it's our duties.
Good morning, Hank. It's Tuesday. Every now and again, you read a book that truly changes your life. I always say that books can be like mirrors or windows. They can be mirrors that reflect your own experience back to you and help you understand it in a new or deeper way. And they can also be windows into other people's experiences. Or, Hank, they can be windows into your own digestive system, like this book, You've Been Pooping All Wrong, that changed my life. This is not an ad or anything. This book just permanently changed my life and the way I engage with my own pooping. So several months ago, I saw Dr. Trisha Pasricha give a talk, and afterwards I came up to her and I was like, that was very impressive and interesting, and I learned a lot. And she was like, thanks, do you want to read my book? And I was like, yeah. I mean, a lot of people ask me to read a lot of books, Hank. And honestly, I came home from the talk and I was like, I'll read 5 pages of this and then, move on with my life. Except I didn't read 5 pages. I read the whole dang book, and I've read it again because, like I said, it changed my life. So first off, it turns out I have been pooping all all wrong because, like 95% of Americans, I don't get enough fiber. And I know, Hank, you've been prattling on about fiber supplementation for years and years, but when Dr. Trisha Pasricha makes the case, I don't know. It's more compelling to me than when my little brother does. So now I'm getting more fiber, which has dramatically improved my pooping. But also, secondly, Dr. Pasricha isn't just a gastroenterologist. She's actually a neurogastroenterologist. She studies like the relationship between the brain and the gut-brain information axis. And that is of some interest to me, as readers of my book Turtles All the Way Down might know. Like, I have long been troubled by the fact that about half the cells inside my body are not, in fact, me, but are bacteria and other organisms that colonize me, and that those bacteria release, like, chemicals into my gut that change the way that I think. And in this book, Dr. Pasricha writes about the relationship between the gut and the brain and how the gut does some thinking, and that fascinates me. But then finally, Hank, the third way this book has changed my life is that it has destigmatized pooping. Now, Hank, on some level, you've always had to destigmatize pooping a little bit because you have ulcerative colitis, and so it's just like a part of your life to poop a lot. But for me, it has always been a deep well of shame. Like, over the last 19 and a half years on Vlogbrothers, I have discussed almost everything that you can discuss, but you can go back. I don't talk about pooping much. And in a way, the stigmatization of poop makes sense, right? Like, it's dirty, it often happens in private, etc. But it also leads to delays in care and very real, actual health problems. Like a lot of health-related stigma, it is a social problem that becomes a biomedical problem. So anyway, after I read the book, I asked Dr. Pasricha, hey, will you come on my YouTube channel and talk to me about poop? And she said yes. I had a couple questions for her, but one big one. Is it possible that my OCD is in fact caused on some level by the bacteria that colonize me and is a problem of my gut as much as it's a problem of my head?
Let's talk about gut-brain research real quick if we can, because longtime viewers of my channel know that I'm obsessed with the gut-brain information axis, and this is actually what you study when you're not writing the book You've Been Pooping All Wrong. You are a researcher who studies the conversations that our guts have with our brains.
Yeah, that's right. I have been studying how the gut and the brain communicate with each other for about 20 years. But it's an old field. It's not something that just popped up in the last couple of decades. People have known how impactfully the brain influences the gut for like more than 100 years. It's within the last couple of decades that we're realizing how much the gut influences the brain. And that's really where I think the excitement is.
This is a question that I've been wondering for many, many years. Is my OCD caused by my bacteria, or is it caused by my brain?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It's like the question that keeps us up at night. And I think the short answer is that it's not as simple as like the gut microbes acting like this puppeteer pulling the strings, but I do think it.
I gotta
Where should we go next?
Do something. Let's have something in the background that that's not really distracting. Okay, that's fine. Here. No, you. Deja vu. Where was it? Ah, yes. And trying to go to Facebook without a VPN on. Such a stupid. Okay, now this is good on that.
Still waiting for something?
5 days. 5 days, also 40.
Originium will carp. The hour of bloodshed is upon us.
Just level up. Let's have something useful in the background.
I don't even think I can fart right now. Let me try and push. Oh man, I gotta go to the bathroom. Hello? Okay, we're good. We're good. I did not short! I promise. I did not! I promise! I did not! I didn't! I really am the shit bird, man.
How does it feel having a daughter that streams most of the day?
What daughter?
Oh, they have humanities. Me when I'm browsing the class book at my college. It's a liberal arts school.
I'm gonna go to Sweden and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, this looks like hightail.
Ew.
Ew!
I'm gonna go to Puerto Rico and go, this looks like the nether.
When you die, it's gonna be very, very warm.
How can it just be one policeman?
Well, because... Guys, Google Translate. What did she say? What did she say? Am I getting insulted or what?
You wish you knew what I said.
Yeah, I wish, because I'm afraid of what that meant. What is that? What did you say? What did you say?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Putang ng babae to, ayaw sabihin ko anong sinasabi. What the heck?
Oh my god, are you speaking? What the fuck?
Ayaw mo sabihin eh! Yan tuloy! Nagsasalita ako ng ganito!
Araho ko nyo. No me venga hablando! What the fuck did you say to me?
Ano ba kasi sinabi niya?
Welcome back, Ollie. I saw you unmute. I just look at you all the time, man.
Damn, gay as fuck. You're gay as fuck, bruh. We get to have a grape! They're expensive grapes. Moko-chan, how much do they cost? 900 yen. That's what we were told, Moko-chan. Wait, really? I think it was 8. It's like 18. Are you kidding me? They're so good! They're 1,800 yen! Are you kidding me?
Wait, in the settings you can change it to show the Scottish slang? Oh wait, there's a Scottish Gaelic! Let's see if that does it. Oh! What does that say? Which one is setting? Any Gaelic? Any Gaelicers in chat? I should say
Mom, is my mom here? Mom! She's not here. This is fucked up. Bro, my mom's not here. Why? Sorry, she's in the middle of something right now. Shut up, Kumi's future stepdad! Ban that! Fuck you!
I have a theory. Hear me out here. ADHD isn't real. It's just a classification that they make to make people think that they actually are weird, but in reality, they're fine. Is basically what I'm saying. And so most of the 90% of the.
Oh my god.
Yo!
She got distracted. No. The HDMI is kicking in.
Okay, I forgot. I found this.
Jesus.
Jesus! What? Jesus! Whoa, Jesus! For you, Jesus, I'll do it. Damn, Jesus! Whoa! Oh, somebody's going to hell, and it ain't me. Cheese, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Jesus just needs a little assistance. Don't you want the second coming of Jesus? Oh my God!
I'm drowning. Help me, I'm under the water. Please, let me hold on to your ball.
Convert?
Wait. Oh, no.
Wait.
Oh my God, is the cat gonna jump scare me? This is cool. Why is the cat disappointed at me? Why are you disappointed? Don't cats no longer a kitten.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
This is so stupid though.
I bet he is.
Can't help it when Babe your mom.
Oh, hello?
Alright guys, what do we name him? Booty hole? The people have spoken. Alright, so if he's a booty hole, what is he saying?
Do it again. One more shot.
My son has IBS. Alright, let's go talk to people.
Life, it never dies. Women are my favorite guy. Sex, I'm wanting more. Tell the world, stop the war. Boom, hear the bass go zoom. Have a body, feel the groove. Cyber system overload. Everybody movement.
Cheers there. Boing. 500,000! You can get a blowjob from any woman in the world. Wow. But you might never have another blowjob for the rest of your life. I don't have dick. Gonna drink my water.
Did you know that you are a cutie patootie now? You do anyway. I'm going to fart on you now.
I love you.
1 second.
Veritas has great.
Where's the phone?
Программа Екатерины Шульман «Статус».
Здравствуйте, в эфире программа «Статус». И в этот раз она выходит из Остина, штат Техас. Здравствуйте. Канал, я надеюсь, на всех каналах, на которых обычно программа «Статус» сейчас идет, и в том числе на канале Екатерины Шульман. Здравствуйте, Екатерина Михайловна.
Здравствуйте, добрый день, наверное.
Ну, здесь добрый день, это так. Я, во-первых, хочу сказать, что смотрите, что здесь у нас есть. У нас здесь есть книжки, которые пришли к нам из Берлина, а это значит, что в магазинах эти книги действительно доставляют в Америку, и это опытным путем проверено. Вот, соответственно, можно это заказывать. Но сегодня я вам дарю книгу,
которое издательство «Видим Букс». Это Антон Долин. Свободное кино несвободного Ирана. Актуальная тема. Пожалуйста, с удовольствием вам ее дарю.
Антон Долин, напомню, также лауреат премии «Политпросвет», премии «Просветитель». И также вручала я ему за книгу «Плохие русские» эту самую премию по-моему, 2 года назад.
Почему так же? Потому что вот эта книга тоже лауреат премии «Политпросвет», премии «Просветитель». Ну, а мы переходим к первой рубрике.
Не новости, но события.
С какого события вы начнете?
Приветствуем прежде всего всех тех, кто может нас слышать как путем личного присутствия, так и онлайн. Надеемся, что наша российская аудитория находит способы связаться с нами, так же, как мы находим способы связаться с ними. Начинаем мы с того, о чем мы говорим уже последние несколько недель, с продолжающейся войны российского государства с интернетом и с тех потерь, которые в этой войне происходят. Потери, я бы сказала, с обеих сторон. Что у нас успело случиться на этом направлении за прошедшую неделю? Сразу хочу сказать, что мы сейчас о многих явлениях должны будем поговорить, или, по крайней мере, о них упомянуть, но в целом все происходящее производит несколько странное впечатление сочетания усиления контроля и усиления развала. Вот одновременно вы сейчас услышите о многочисленных попытках государства контролировать все, что движется, либо запретить это движение, и одновременно с неудачей этих попыток, или, точнее говоря, с некоторыми непредвиденными последствиями такого рода кампаний. Итак, у нас успел произойти следующее. Значит, вот буквально в последние дни. Видимо, в попытках заблокировать все живое, Роскомнадзор и иные сотрудничающие с ним или руководящие им ведомства сумели несколько раз положить интернет в России. В частности, были зафиксированы массовые сбои в работе таких онлайн-сервисов, как Сбербанк, Альфа-банк, Газпромбанк, а также последние госуслуги и НТВ+. То есть сначала происходят какие-то неполадки в банковской сфере, платежи не проходят. Это, напомню, в сочетании с тем, что из-за периодического отсутствия мобильного интернета в российских городах безналичные платежи довольно часто не функционируют, что называется, уже в фоновом режиме, то есть терминалы кассовые не работают. Кстати, к теме кассовых терминалов мы с вами тоже вернемся. И вот теперь еще и банки онлайн работать перестали. Также большие затруднения испытывают пользователи сервиса госуслуги, в том числе те, которые поставили благополучно мессенджер Макс для того, чтобы на эти госуслуги заходить, но это тоже не помогает. А интересная деталь, вроде бы, опять же, мелочь на этом общем хаотичном фоне, но давайте обратим внимание на это. Наталья Касперская не последний человек в российской, скажем так, IT-сфере, и также не последний человек в той части этой сферы, которая как раз помогает российскому государству контролировать ход информации, возмутилась онлайн, как раз в Телеграме, довольно многословно, тем, что блокировки приводят к сбоям банковских сервисов. Но как она написала буквально через несколько часов, с ней поговорил с ней представитель Минцифры и объяснил ей, что она не права, что это вовсе не из-за блокировок, что это, с одной стороны, там, как обычно в таких случаях бывает, разноречивые объяснения. Во-первых, не брала, во-вторых, вернула, в-третьих, уже был битый интернет. То есть, с одной стороны, это Сбер что-то делает у себя, вводит какую-то необычайную инновацию, которая вот такие вызывает шероховатости. С другой стороны, это DDoS-атака. Ну, то есть вот напали враги и все попортили. Таким образом, Наталья Касперская извинилась за свои поспешные слишком выводы и обвинения. Извинения — давняя российская внутриполитическая традиция, но, видите, даже такие непростые люди, как бывшая жена Касперского и нынешняя жена Ашманова, оба важные такие человеки, в общем, не свободны от исполнения этого замечательного ритуала. Мы не знаем, была ли водолазочка, потому что, как вы знаете, правильно извиняющийся россиянин должен надевать водолазочку. Но все остальное, по-моему, вполне было соблюдено. Мы упомянули с вами Минцифры. Минцифры, как министерство, находится в этом, так сказать, процессе в довольно двусмысленной позиции. Или, может быть, хочет демонстрировать двусмысленность своей позиции. С одной стороны, Роскомнадзор относится к ним. Это их подведомственная служба. С другой стороны, они вроде как, по крайней мере, в лице своего министра Максуда Шадаева все время говорят, что мы хотим смягчить вот эту железную руку государства, которая уже смыкается на тоненьком горлышке российского интернета. Мы хотим найти вариант, который будет чуть получше, чем то, что могло бы быть, если бы не мы. Трудно понять, насколько эти разговоры соответствуют действительности. Все такого рода объяснения типа «соглашайтесь на это, а то хуже будет» — это, в общем, классический прием шантажа, и совершенно это не обязано быть какой-то правдой. Тем не менее, что мы слышим? Мы слышим из разных источников, наверное, это можно считать подтвержденным, о том, что в последних числах марта Минцифры проводит совещание с руководителями крупнейших российских интернет-сервисов и, собственно, им предлагает взять на себя функции цензуры в сети и борьбы с использованием VPN-сервисов, а это одна из основных ныне приоритетных государственных задач, чтобы, опять же, хуже не было. Шадаев все время говорит, что альтернативой является введение уголовной ответственности за использование VPN. Вот не хотите, так сказать, по-плохому, давайте как-нибудь по-хорошему. Кто эти крупнейшие российские интернет-сервисы? Ну, действительно, все, кого только можете себе представить. Сбербанк, Яндекс, ВК, Wildberries, Озон, Газпром Медиа, Авито, X5 — это Пятерочка, 2GIS — это картографы, Headhunter — это, соответственно, такая служба по поиску работы. Вот все, кто, в общем, составляют значительный процент русскоязычного интернета. Вот теперь они должны самостоятельно каким-то образом выявлять VPN-сервисы и препятствовать тому, чтобы на их платформы люди через VPN-сервисы заходили. Если этого не будет, если они не будут этого делать, то грозят им следующим: исключением их ресурсов из белых списков, то есть таких, которые работают и без интернета, и при отключении мобильного интернета, и лишение IT-аккредитации. IT-аккредитация — это очень выгодная льгота, которую несколько лет последних Минцифры предоставляет работникам этой области. Там налог на прибыль 5% вместо 25% и нулевой НДС. В общем, терять это, конечно, никто не захочет. Обратим внимание на эту деталь, на попытку переложить государственное администрирование, государственную цензуру на самих участников рынка. Это совершенно не первое такое явление, но оно характерное, и чуть забегая вперед скажем, что у него есть название. Обратим внимание также еще на одно событие, которое связано с Министерством цифрового развития. Там замминистра ушел на фронт. Ну как на фронт? Не совсем на фронт, но записался на СВО. Он подписал контракт о прохождении службы в добровольческом формировании «Барс Курск». Мы с вами об этих барсах вообще и о Курской его разновидности в частности довольно много говорили. Барс — это барсы, вот эти все, это территориальные добровольческие формирования, которые должны охранять те или иные российские регионы. Барс Курск специфически прославился. Сначала, кстати, большой дружбой с Вагнером, когда еще был Вагнер. Вот помните, у нас с вами были две области, на которые мы смотрели с точки зрения их тактик по отношению к Пригожину. Курская область и Белгородская. Курский губернатор очень дружил с Пригожиным, с ним там снимался, фотографировался. Соответственно, пригожинские кадры в этом курском барсе там кого-то обещали тренировать, а белгородский губернатор как-то отстранялся от Пригожина и особой дружбы с ним не водил. По прошествии времени, опять же, спойлер, оказалось, что вторая тактика, в общем, более рациональная. Тем не менее, Барс Курск прославился в качестве такого удобного места для чиновников, которые хотят либо, так сказать, отпрыгнуть от опасного места работы. Я очень сильно подозреваю, что в случае с этим замминистра, зовут его Андрей Заренин, речь идет именно о чем-то таком. Может быть, человек не хочет участвовать в том, что вынуждено делать министерство. Может быть, он понимает, что из этого не получится ничего хорошего, либо вообще не получится, либо получится безобразие какое-нибудь, и потом будут искать виноватых. Мы с вами видим, как раз за разом в провалах спецслужб обвиняют всегда гражданских. Будут примеры этой тенденции, она не нова. Либо другие госслужащие могут хотеть обелить свою репутацию, подготовить себя к дальнейшему кадровому продвижению. Или они так думают, пробыв несколько месяцев в рядах этого Барса Курска, сфотографировавшись в камуфляже, значит, с таким приятным боевым загаром на лице, а дальше через 3 месяца или 6 месяцев вернувшись на свое рабочее место с повышением или хотя бы с повышениями не очень хорошо, а у российских госслужащих в последнее время, хотя бы переждав тот момент, когда в их подразделении арестуют всех остальных, а их, например, не арестуют. Не все всегда это помогает. Участники СВО отлично садятся, и те, кто успел пройти там какую-то службу, садятся тоже. Но вот мы видим, пожалуй, самого высокопоставленного такого госслужащего, который, собственно, вот заключил контракт. Я напомню, что заключающие контракт сохраняют за собой свое рабочее место, но некоторая проблема в том, что если вы заключаете контракт с Минобороны, то он бессрочный. Но если это контракт с добровольческим формированием, то там эта норма не применяется. Так что, как видим, тут в Курской области есть прям очень-очень выгодные такие знаменитые курорты Курской области. Не то чтобы мы их рекламируем кому-нибудь другому, но тем не менее просто знайте, что есть такая опция.
Давайте осмыслим это и ненадолго прервемся на рекламу. На одном из каналов реклама пошла, на всех остальных мы пьем чай. И...
Все было нормально? В смысле,
да,
слышно, видно,
все
без
хорошо,
задержек?
все видно, все слышно. Вот смотрите, вот даже покажу вам изображение.
Вот такие мы красивые.
Вот такие.
Красивые.
И обратите внимание, опять не договариваясь, оделись в тон. Да. Ура. У нас буквально минута еще, и после минуты мы продолжаем первую рубрику.
Например, Blank VPN. Инфраструктура сервиса работает вне Телеграма и не зависит от его доступности. Подключение к VPN выполняется в один клик в приложениях для iOS, macOS или Android. Скорость подключения до 10 гигабит в секунду с полным безлимитом как на количество устройств, так и на трафик. У Blank VPN огромный опыт. Сервис работает в России уже 8 лет, быстро адаптируется к новым ограничениям и помогает сохранить полную анонимность. Blank VPN дает 30 дней, чтобы попробовать сервис. Если вам что-то не понравится, компания вернет деньги. Оплатить подписку можно российскими картами или криптовалютой. А на любые вопросы, например, как настроить обход белых списков или поставить VPN на роутер, ответит поддержка, которая работает 24/7. Переходите по QR-коду на экране или ссылке в описании видео и устанавливайте Blank VPN. В ссылку уже встроен промокод «Свобода», который даст скидку до 66% и 30 дней гарантии возврата средств.
Итак, мы продолжаем говорить о, скажем так, перебоях со связью. Мы упомянули о сбоях в банковских сервисах. Надо сказать, что такого рода дисфункции, мало того, что неприятны в моменте, они еще оживляют беспокойство граждан о сохранности их прав. В общем, когда инфраструктура, поддерживающая безналичные переводы, вдруг растворяется в воздухе, люди начинают задумываться над тем, что синица в руке, то бишь наличные деньги, как-то надежнее журавля на депозите. Это при том, что граждане, в общем, очень много денег хранят на депозитах, процент по вкладам в рублях довольно выгоден. В общем, это крайне популярный инструмент для сохранения своих сбережений. Но мы видим, как в последнее время то же самое российское государство, которое, если не развивало, то способствовало или не мешало развитию онлайн-бэнкинга и вообще финансовых услуг. А в России гордились ими не без резону, сравнивали с медленной и забюрократизированной Европой, тоже не без основания. Но вот теперь мы видим, как, так сказать, правая рука ломает то, что до этого делала левая, или, по крайней мере, то, чего левая доломать не успела. Мы также знаем, благодаря той статистике, которую еще публикует Центробанк, о том, что граждане снимают свои вклады, переводят их в наличные очень активно, в очень больших масштабах. И это при том, что предыдущими законодательными изменениями, направленными на борьбу с мошенниками, конечно же, а теперь возможности снять наличные в банкомате ограничены.
А тут, говорят, Вику Цыганову через Макс обманули мошенники.
Вику Цыганову обидеть может каждый. Это, я считаю, бесчеловечно.
Вроде бы для этого Макс вообще говорили, что...
Для того, чтобы охранять пожилых певиц, которые довольно часто становятся жертвами тех.
Но она уже извинилась.
Тоже
извинилась. Да, уже сказала, что не так все страшно.
Это главное, что все закончилось хорошо. Итак, значит, по поводу контроля государства над деньгами граждан и передвижениями этих денег. Значит, смотрите, у нас буквально в течение нескольких дней, последних числах марта, первых числах апреля, правительством Российской Федерации внесено довольно большое количество законопроектов, которые все называются скучно. Это наша традиция. И смысл которых я именно по этой причине постараюсь объяснить. У них есть совершенно очевидный общий замысел. Внесены они так, значит, один законопроект, потом пакет из 3, потом еще один. А общий замысел их состоит в следующем. Это, во-первых, усиление контроля за переводами, денежными переводами. Это усиление контроля за продажами и усиление контроля за импортом, то есть за покупками гражданами каких-то товаров из-за рубежа. Преимущественно речь идет о физических лицах. Помним лозунг 20-х. Люди – это новая нефть. Когда этот лозунг только начинал становиться популярным, он казался каким-то коммунистическим, но теперь выяснилось, что государство понимает его в том духе, что если мы раньше отжимали что-то, так сказать, выжимали из недр, теперь мы будем выжимать это из живых людей. Итак, значит, все эти законопроекты, еще раз повторю, внесены правительством. Они только-только внесены свеженькие. Мы обязательно их увидим рассмотренными и, скорее всего, принятыми в течение апреля. Я напомню, что эта сессия последняя сессия этого созыва. В сентябре будут выборы, поэтому надо успеть максимально все принять за весну, чтобы не откладывать это, не отдавать уже следующему созыву, соответственно, не откладывать на конец года. Итак, значит, внесение изменений, вот слушное название, отдельные законодательные акты Российской Федерации в части совершенствования контроля за безналичными платежами. Значит, это поправки в закон о контрольно-кассовой технике. Значит, чего теперь будет? Будет следующее. При покупке бумажный чек или даже электронный вам не обязаны отдавать, если вы его не попросите. Но кредитные организации будут обязаны передавать в ФНС, Федеральную налоговую службу, информацию о каждой безналичной операции физлица в адрес компании и ИП с указанием ИНН как плательщика, если он согласится, он может отказаться, и ННН получателя денег обязательно. То есть ФНС хочет иметь больше информации о всех участниках транзакций. В пояснительной записке прям так и написано, что безналичные расчеты по пластиковым картам становятся все более и более массовыми. Правда, статистика приведена за 2024 год. Я подозреваю, что статистика за 2024 и 2025 может несколько отличаться. В общем, переводят много, а кассовые терминалы показывают меньше. Таким образом, ФНС недополучает денег. Денег, еще раз повторю, государству хочется до боли. Поэтому из любого источника, в особенности из источника, связанного с физлицом, этих денег будут, так сказать, пытаться добыть. Также пояснительная записка нам сообщает, предлагаемые мероприятия охватят 99% безналичных платежей. Далее рассказываются разные мечты, насколько больше можно будет получить денег за год. Значит, там будет плюс 20 миллиардов рублей в 2027 году, плюс 50 миллиардов рублей в 2028 году и так далее, и так далее. Это, значит, что касается кассовых аппаратов, об этом я говорю в первую очередь, потому что это действительно то, с чем люди сталкиваются по нескольку раз на дню. Значит, контроль над импортом. Тут все хитрее. Значит, при определении цены в целях взимания НДС при импорте товаров теперь нужно будет укладывается ли эта цена в некий интервал рыночных цен. Кто определяет интервал рыночных цен? В общем, понятен замысел, да? Чтобы не занижали цену. Чтобы не занижали цену импортируемого товара. Доказывание отклонения цены от рыночного интервала производится налоговыми органами в рамках стандартных мероприятий налогового контроля, камеральных и выездных проверок, а также налогового мониторинга. То есть налоговая будет следить, не занижали ли вы, продавец, цену при продаже этого самого товара. Ну и то, что мы больше всего любим, значит, санкции одновременно вводятся, новая статья в КААПе, штрафы, вот, пожалуйста. Значит, также штраф, кстати говоря, за открытие счета банковского физическому лицу без указания ИНН. То есть тут тоже ИНН надо обязательно...
Оштрафуют кого? Банк или...
Сейчас оштрафуют для банки и операторы платформы цифрового рубля. 20 тысяч рублей, пока штраф маленький, но тем не менее. В настоящее время, сообщают авторы, доходы физических лиц, получаемые в безналичном порядке от других физических лиц, находятся за периметром налогового контроля, так как исключены из налогообложения. Как планируется с этим бороться, все должны указывать свой ИНН. Наличие ИНН делает все ваши транзакции прозрачными для налоговых органов. И пакет из 3 аж законопроектов. Тут название соответствует содержанию, что не так часто бывает. О цифровой валюте и цифровых правах, о внесении изменений в законодательные акты отдельные, это как всегда, и о внесении изменений в КААП. Значит, закрепляется понятие цифровой валюты как средство платежа, цифровых финансовых активов, утилитарных и гибридных цифровых прав. Устанавливаются правила обращения цифровых валют. В общем, пришли за криптовалютчиками. Если вы это они, пожалуйста, ссылку дадим в описании прочитайте сам законопроект, не только пояснительную записку. Я не буду ее пересказывать своими словами, потому что материя эта непростая. Самое главное, что, в общем, видно. Резиденты обязаны уведомлять налоговые органы об открытии и закрытии криптокошельков за рубежом, отчеты об операциях с цифровой валютой, допуск цифровой валюты и цифровых прав к торгам, включение в конкурсную массу при банкротстве и так далее. В общем, опять же, учет и контроль. Вводится статус каких-то неквалифицированных инвесторов, которые могут не любые цифровые валюты приобретать, а только те, которые включены в перечень Банка России и только после прохождения тестирования. Вот так вот. Так что нужно будет пройти тест на право приобрести эту самую криптовалюту. Ну и санкции. Какая же законодательная новелла без санкций? Административная ответственность за совершение организации, правда, незаконных сделок с резидентами, не являющихся квалифицированными инвесторами. Для должностных лиц и для юрлиц. Для юрлиц штраф до 1 миллиона. Санкций для физлиц пока мы не наблюдаем. Но первый принцип законотворчества – лиха беда начала. Главное – открыть, так сказать, окно возможностей, а дальше оно расширяется уже до широких ворот. Пришла беда, еще раз процитируем русскую народную мудрость, открывай ворота. В общем, государство хочет денежек, государство хочет это все контролировать. Некоторая ирония исторического момента состоит в следующем. Инфраструктура этого контроля одновременно уязвима перед стремлением государства ограничить обмен информацией. То есть у нас совершенно очевидно несколько акторов действуют в противоречии друг другу. Есть акторы, и мы их знаем, которые хотели бы вообще весь этот интернет бы отключить, потому что по нему дроны наводятся и диверсанты вербуются. Не было в их молодости интернета и жили хорошо, и вот сейчас до его не надо. Есть другая часть акторов, от которых требуется принести деньги. От первой не требуется приносить деньги, они тратят деньги, от них требуется порядок обеспечить. Их цели противоречивы, их методы находятся в прямой оппозиции друг к другу. Мы сейчас не будем с вами делать ставки на жабу или на гадюку. Как всегда, пожелаем успехов обеим сторонам. Я совершенно здесь не вижу, так сказать, цифровых технократов в качестве каких-то белых рыцарей, которые охраняют права граждан. Они строят цифровой ГУЛАГ. Внезапно силовики ломают цифровой ГУЛАГ.
Хотят обычный ГУЛАГ.
Они хотят обычный ГУЛАГ, совершенно верно. Выбор, как вы понимаете, потрясающий. Как говорил даллатский герой, и то, и другое настолько вкусно, что мы тут даже не будем, не то что делать выбор, мы даже не будем ставить перед вами этот вопрос, потому что сама его постановка представляется нам неэтичной. Но вот на это политическое противоречие я вас призываю полюбоваться. Вообще-то говоря, в обычной ситуации над всей
really that time again.
Этими акторами с их разноречивой повесткой, что естественно, потому что у них разные обязанности и разные возможности, стоит то, что называется на советском языке политическим руководством, которое ставит приоритетные цели и как-то примеряет вот эти вот векторы административных активностей. Но у нас политическое руководство куда-то задевалось, не знаем куда, или занято чем-то другим, но, в общем, ничего ни с кем не примеряет и предоставляет каждому актору действовать на свой страх и риск. Чтобы у вас не сложилось впечатление о исключительно ужесточительном тренде российского законотворчества, давайте укажем на меру, я бы сказала, либерализационную. Уже в 4-й раз правительственная комиссия по законопроектной деятельности, это такой правительственный орган, который дает свои заключения относительно любых законопроектов, отвергла предложение запретить депутатам и иным госслужащим, а также их супругам и несовершеннолетним детям владеть недвижимостью за рубежом. Мы помним, как еще в 2022 году были первые попытки ввести такую норму. Вклады-то нельзя, а недвижимость почему-то можно. И как Павел Владимирович Крашенинников, в остальное время депутат здорового человека, говорил, что у многих есть, ну вот какие-то на территории бывшего СНГ, какие-то мазанки, какие-то хатки, понимаете ли, оставшиеся им от предков, и так тяжело будет с ними расставаться, так и видишь вот эту такую мазанку где-нибудь в Приднестровье, и аист на крыше там, и мир на земле, и все такое. И вот как же это можно продать? Вот с тех пор уже 4 было попытки, вот эта 4-я, это инициатива фракции КПРФ, значит, правительственная комиссия законопроектная говорит, что в связи с типа недружественностью многих стран трудно будет реализовать этот законопроект, если он станет законом. В общем, и хотел бы избавиться от недвижимости, но как-то не получается, потому что не знаешь прям как связаться с органами этих недружественных стран. Через МАКС они почему-то не отвечают.
Да и этих недружественных стран все больше и больше. Куда ни ткни буквально.
Все уже недружественные. Вот, собственно, живописно мною обрисованная Молдова уже из СНГ даже и выходит. Вот как с такими иметь дело. О дальнейших несчастьях госслужащих мы с вами тоже скажем. Практически не проходит выпуска, в котором мы не говорили бы о том, как кого-то посадили или у кого-нибудь чего-нибудь конфисковали. Это уже кажется какой-то такой повторяющейся историей, что называется... теряется, может быть, то обостренное восприятие, которое было характерно для начала этих всех чисток. Но, тем не менее, значит, у нас с вами нетривиальное событие, приговор бывшему губернатору упомянутой нами Курской области. Приговор серьезный, 14 лет колонии строгого режима, штраф 400 миллионов рублей, значит, запрет занимать должности на госслужбе в течение 10 лет. Мне это представляется немножко избыточным, да?
Это уже после выхода.
Это еще после выхода. Понятно. Ну что ж, тогда это уже не так избыточно. Помните, мы с вами сказали буквально только что о том, как гражданские всегда отвечают за провалы силовиков. Дело, по которому сел губернатор Смирнов и застрелился губернатор Старовойт, это так называемое дело о зубах дракона, о разворовывании денег, выделенных на оборонные укрепления в Курской области преимущественно, но также и в Брянской и частично в Белгородской области. Курская область особенно пострадала, потому что ВСУ туда вошло и, в общем, за 24 часа преодолело все эти драконьи зубы, которые как-то не выросли, в отличие от легенды об аргонавтах. Почему мы говорим, что гражданские отвечают за силовиков? Потому что, вообще-то говоря, пограничная служба и пограничный контроль – это подразделение ФСБ, Федеральной службы безопасности. И рубежи Родины должны стеречь они, а никакие не губернаторы. Но поскольку ФСБ никогда ни в чем не может быть виновата, ни в том, что война началась на основании ложной информации, ни в том, что теракт в Крокусе случился, ни в том, что в Курскую область зашли иноземные войска. Поэтому виноваты будут какие-то другие люди. Является ли этот приговор губернатору, несмотря на всю его суровость? Да, еще он лишен звания заслуженный работник ЖКХ. Вот это вот уже жестоко, да, совсем бесчеловечно. А является ли этот приговор рекордным? Нет, не является. Вообще, глядя на сроки, данные губернаторами, понимаешь, что должность эта незавидная. Значит, рекорд тут принадлежит Сергею Фургалу, бывшему губернатору Хабаровского края. Там дело политическое во всех смыслах. Во-первых, все знают, что сняли его и посадили за то, что он был слишком популярен на своей территории, но и обвинения его нетривиальны. Это не обычные хозяйственные обвинения, взятки и хищения и растрата, как у всех остальных губернаторов и нижестоящих чиновников, а это, значит, участие в в организации убийства, в общем, какие-то такие серьезные преступления. Но что у нас еще есть? 15 лет, например, Александру Хорошавину, бывшему губернатору Сахалинской области. 13 лет губернатор Мариэл Маркелов, 12 лет Белозерцев, Пензенская область, 11 лет Гайзер, Коми. Помните, в Коми посадили просто всю администрацию.
Такое не забудешь. Там
да.
еще все вокруг получили тоже бешеные сроки.
Да. Там всю администрацию объявили ОПГ и посадили всех надолго. Ну, сроки ниже 10 лет мы с вами даже перечислять не будем. Это что-то такое прям совсем детское. Есть, кстати говоря, любопытный случай. У нас есть губернатор, находящийся в бегах. И это губернатор немаленькой Челябинской области Михаил Юрьевич. Значит, ну, его уголовное дело было возбуждено еще в 2017 году, еще до войны, до ковида.
Alright. That's going to be it for